All right, welcome to our resume writing program. This is kind of focusing on the differences of different resumes. Again, my name is Rin Fritsky. I'm one of the career counselors at the Career Development Center. I'm originally from Japan, and resume means something totally different in Japan. It means like a short note for a meeting. So, I know a lot of you are from different countries. What does resume mean in your country? Anybody? What does resume mean in your country? What does it look like?
My personal, anything which, my professional, what course I have taken, my personal experience in the work that I have done.
Okay.
My personal,
maybe
all
interest?
my personal information, my personal skills, hobbies, all this.
Skills, hobbies, personal information. Okay, that might be what a resume means. And how usually long is a resume in your country?
Maximum 2 pages.
Maximum 2 pages. And which country are you from?
India.
India. Okay. I see a lot of Indian students. They'll have 3, 4, 5 page resumes. And that might be the reason that like, oh, I have to cut all this information. Well, who's heard of the word CV before? CV? Yeah, okay. CV and resume usually basically mean the same thing outside of the United States. A lot of times CV is used instead of resume outside of the United States. Usually CV in the United States means it's like a resume for an academic position. So for those students that are applying to academic positions, like assistant professor or a postdoc or a research position, might be asked for a CV. That means CV. But usually in the United States, when we are trying to apply for an internship, a part-time job, a full-time job, usually it's required to be called a resume, and usually it's 1 page long. Master's students and above, you can go to 2 pages, but usually 2 pages is the max. And you mentioned about personal information. Personal information, name, contact information, email address, phone number, yes. Okay? But age, no. Gender, no. Marital status, no. Okay? Those are all information. Social security number, absolutely no. Those are type of information that you will not put in your resume. Like a Japanese style resume, we'll write our family members, their age, we have our photograph on the resume. Anybody have that kind of resume? Alright, that's a no-no in the United States. Maybe for specific positions like modeling, maybe, but, in the 3 sizes. But beyond that, we will not include that kind of information. Okay? So let's proceed. The reason. What's the purpose of a resume? Anybody want to give a stab at that? Why do you need a resume? Yes.
To market yourself.
To market yourself. Good answer. To market yourself. Absolutely. A resume is not your life history. Your resume is not an autobiography. A resume is a marketing tool. Okay? It's like a commercial on paper. But it's only 1 or 2 pages, right? So you really have to focus it for the specific position, for the specific employer. That means there is no such thing as a general resume. If you are thinking you're going to make 1 resume and going to send it to every employer, do not do that. Because it's a waste of time and money. Okay? So, let's go to our next page, if I can figure this out. There we go. Okay, job search in the U.S. Okay, why do I have job search in the U.S. first? Well, because the resume is a marketing tool of you as a job candidate, and you're trying to market yourself to a specific employer. So, 1, it's a job search tool. Just one of them. There's multiple job search tools. And if you're more curious about how to find a job in the United States, I will be doing another program actually this Friday. Same place, same time. So you're more than welcome to come back. But because it's a job search tool, you want to start early. I think I've said this at the orientation. For U.S. citizens that have citizenship in the U.S., right now the average time for them to get a full-time job is taking about 8 to 9 months. Okay, so if you're a senior or if you're a master's student, you're going to be starting the year before you want the actual full-time job. For internships, usually it's about half of the time, for about 4 to 5 months, 3, 4, 5 months, depending, if you're a U.S. citizen. Okay, there's barriers to international students, so you need to start early. Okay, it is your responsibility to find a position, to find an employer, to really sell them on your skills and how you can contribute to them. It's going to take time. There's no quick fix. You know, we do have a list of employers that are hiring, but we have 14,000 students, right? And there's going to be, what, a couple of hundred of positions? And it's not only Binghamton students that are applying. So it's going to take time to get to know these employers and let the employer get to know you as well. You can't give up easily, and you have to take initiative, meaning you have to make the first move. If you think the employer is going to contact you, you're wrong. Because right now, you probably heard, we're in a recession. There's not enough jobs for everybody, and people that have more years of experience are having a hard time finding jobs. You're competing with them as well as among yourselves. Okay? Know what position you are qualified for. For those students that have master's degrees, PhDs, if you're applying to an entry-level position, which usually is open to undergraduate students, you are overqualified. Okay? Meaning, you know a whole lot more, you have a lot more experience than the type of employees the employer is looking for. If you are overqualified, employers don't like to hire you. They want to hire you for master's and PhD level positions. And if you're an undergraduate student applying to a master's level job, you're probably going to be underqualified. You probably are not experienced enough to do that job. What the employer wants is a good fit. So you want to really highlight what you have to offer to the employer with specific examples to show that you're a good fit for that position. Does it make sense? Okay? And know and talk about what you have to offer. What a lot of students tend to do, and this is not just international students, U.S. students as well. Binghamton students, you guys are smart. That's why you're here. You're a selected group of students. You're very talented. We know that. And employers know that. And that's why they come to recruit here. But that doesn't give you a job in your hand right after you graduate. You have to find it, you have to apply, you have to work for it. So you have to really communicate what is it that you have to offer. Because what you're asking is for a job that pays, I'm assuming, right? And in the long run, you probably want somebody to support you for an H-1 visa if you're an international student. Am I right? Okay, not all of you, but some of you are. That means, okay, if this is what you're asking, what do you have to offer? Okay, there's nothing that's free. If you want a job, then what is the employer going to get out of you? You have to be very clear in communicating what is it that you have to offer. Okay? We don't want job beggars. We call them job beggars. Give me a job, please. Any job. It's okay. I'll do anything. No, you won't. You want to do something that's going to be in your profession, that's going to be challenging in a good way, maybe stable, maybe make a lot of money. It's different for everybody. But you have to find a good fit, and you have to communicate what you have to offer. Okay? So, these are some of the things, these are some of the things that you're going to need to be doing. So before we go into there, any questions so far? Are we okay? You guys are really quiet. Alright. Do you have a question? No? Okay. So what you need to do is research employers. Okay? For those of you that said that are going to the job and internship fair, we have a fair called the Job and Internship Fair. This is when, for now, I think there's 66 employers registered that are coming to the Binghamton University campus in the Event Center on September 22nd from 11 to 3 p.m. If you didn't write that down, that's okay. I'll show you where you can find it. They're here to meet you. They're not here to give you a job, okay? They're here to meet you. They want to be convinced that you're going to be a great candidate for the internship positions and full-time positions they're recruiting for. Okay? This is a chance for you to meet employers, ask questions, promote yourself. But they expect you, and also they expect your resume to demonstrate that you know what they're looking for and you know what they want. So you need to demonstrate that you know what they're looking for. Because I've been an employer, I've hired people, and I can look at a resume, I could see a resume in about 8 seconds. That's how much time it takes for me. I'll look at it and I'll say, no. That's about enough time. No. Maybe it'll take about 15 seconds. Okay, maybe. And the yes, I definitely know when I see it, because there's keywords that I'm looking for. Okay? Pursue multiple options. Do not limit yourself to 1 or 2 or 3 companies, because the chances are you're not going to get it. Okay? Expand. Be flexible. SOM students, raise your hand. Accounting students, raise your hand. Alrighty, SOM, there's about, what, 10 in here? Not everybody raised their hands. Okay, I want to go into business. That's what I hear a lot. Okay, what does that mean? Business. Everything's a business. Everything's a business. Okay, what does business mean? Within business, what is the function? What is the role you want to play? Okay, engineers. Do we have engineers in here? Of course we do. Come on, raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, there's different types of engineering. What's the role you want to play? What is your contribution? Okay, you want to be very, very open and specific. This is how I can contribute, but also I can use these kind of skills in different areas as well. Okay, so you want to pursue multiple options. Meaning, if you are looking to go into marketing, okay, what does marketing do? What does marketing do? It markets your service or how you're going to benefit somebody. You're trying to inform people, right? Well, every business needs marketing. Every single business. I made a poster to market my program. You guys came. I sent you multiple emails, didn't I? Through multiple offices, didn't I? You got it. You came, right? That's marketing. I'm in higher education. I'm a career counselor. I did marketing. Do you see where I'm going? Who's good with computers? Computer science majors? There we go. Every single business uses computers. Don't limit yourself. Okay? Just because you're in computer science doesn't mean you have to go to Microsoft. Right? That's what I'm saying. I'm glad you're laughing. But a lot of people are like, what do you mean I don't have to go to Microsoft? That's where everybody wants to go. No. That's what I mean by being flexible. And maintain a positive but realistic attitude. Okay, when I tell you that it's going to take 9 months, I said that's for U.S. citizens, right? If you're not a U.S. citizen, double that time. Okay? That's realistic. If you think of an American employer, and if they've never hired an international student, some of them are going to be very uncomfortable hiring an international student because, one, you might have an accent they don't understand. You might have a name they can't pronounce correctly. That's very basic, but that makes people uncomfortable. Maybe their relatives or their friends were fired. If you're going to hire an international citizen, why not hire an American? There are people that are very strongly against hiring foreign nationals. That's reality. Understand that. That's a realistic attitude. But that doesn't mean you have to be negative. That doesn't mean you have to be pessimistic. Okay? Because every employer you meet, it's the first time you're going to meet them. You want to be positive. You want to be energetic. You want to be excited. And you want them to you want to let them know that you are interested in working with them. So you want to be positive. Nobody wants to work with somebody that's a downer, right? Because who's hiring who? People hire people. And the truth is, people like to hire people they like. So you have to be likable. Bottom line. I like my colleagues, honestly. That makes working fun. Okay? Questions? Yes.
You just mentioned about the keywords. What are the keywords?
What are the keywords?
Yeah.
Great question. What kind of field do you want to go into?
Maybe computer science? Or?
Computer science. Okay. What type of job could you give me an example of you might want to do?
Maybe the software development.
Software development. Okay. What could be a possible keyword for a software development position at your level? Give me a noun, a verb, an adjective. Give me anything. What could be a keyword?
Programming language.
Maybe it's a program language.
Program language. That's a noun. Absolutely. C++, MATLAB. Absolutely. They're going to come up as keywords. What did you say? Same thing. But you might be wrong. Right? So how do you find out?
I don't know. Maybe from the job description.
Yay! Absolutely. From the job description, they're going to say requirements,
Yeah.
job responsibilities, description, whatever it might say. Ask the employer. Look at the past job postings or present job postings. Absolutely. People that work in software development, ask them. And you want to sprinkle those all over your resume. Right? Because a lot of times with these popular organizations, there is going to be one position and 2,000 people are going to apply, right? So they're not going to go through a resume even if it's 8 seconds. Like, I reviewed 120 resumes in like 3 hours. And by the end, I was like, it's not going to happen. What they're going to do, they're going to collect resumes. This is what a lot of employers do. They're going to put it in the scanner, and they're going to skip. And then they're going to do a keyword search, C++. And then all the resumes that have C++ in it, for an example, is going to pop up. Then they might do another keyword, or whatever. They might want develop, right? As in a verb in your resume. And if it's in the present tense, they might like it than if it's developed in the past tense. Yeah. So you might want to put them in both ways. Or they might want the noun version, developer, as a past job description or a job title name. Then they eliminate the 2,000 to maybe 150. Then they might see it. Then they might read it. So you might have great experiences. But if you don't have the right keyword, they might not read it. Okay, so be aware. It might be a human eye, but it might be the computer that's reading it. Good question. Any other questions? Okay, we'll proceed. And again, ask questions. So these are some of the things that I said that are some job search tools. Resume is only one of them, and we only have time for talking about the resume today. But again, if you're interested, we have multiple programs coming up. We have lots of resources online that you can read at home in your pajamas at whatever time you want to. So please go to our website as well. But today we're talking about resumes. So the resume is a marketing tool for a specific employer that's usually on a paper, or you're going to send it online as an attachment. Okay? It's going to be very, very targeted. Okay? Cover letter, just for your information, is a letter that introduces why the employer has to read the resume. Okay? And why they should take you seriously and be interested in you. Interview, yes?
What's the difference between resume and cover?
That's what I just said. The resume is more of a who, what, when, and where. It's the details of your past related experience that's going to be marketable. The cover letter is telling the story why they should be interested in, why you're going to be beneficial if they actually read your resume. The cover letter introduces your resume.
So does the cover letter is a complement to the job description?
It should be, yes, because if the job description says that this is the type of job duties, this is what the job requires, then you definitely want to give a few examples of similar things you've done in the past and how you can...
That should go into your resume or that should go into your cover letter?
It goes in the cover letter because it's explaining how you're going to benefit them. The how and the qualifications that make you qualify goes in the resume. The facts goes in the resume. The cover letter is more of it's a love letter to the employer. This is why we're meant for each other. This is why we fit together. So the resume and cover, there's a little bit of overlap, but not much. Okay? And so again, with the cover letter, there's no such thing as a general cover letter, right? Right? Because there's no such thing as a general love letter. Right? I mean, if you got a general love letter, you're going to know, okay, I want to date you because you're between the ages of 25 and 35 and you have long hair. Okay, that's not me. So we don't want that.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
The cover letter, does it have to be typed or written?
Typed. Yes. Good question. And we have lots of programs for cover letters as well. Okay? If you want to come in here, so you can see, you're more than welcome. Yeah. Sorry you had to. And before you leave, if you can sign in, that'll be great. Careful with the boards. I know it's a little crowded. You're welcome to join the party. It's just started. All right. So, interviewing. Okay. So, resume and cover letter usually goes hand in hand. It's usually like salt and pepper, so you want it to look, you know, have the same margins, have the same font size, you know, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go into detail. But for a job fair, you're not going to need a cover letter, okay? Usually a resume does not go alone. But because a job fair, you're going to meet the employers face to face, you get to tell the story instead of writing a cover letter, so you don't need a cover letter. But if you're applying to a job through like the web or through mail, you usually write a cover letter. Okay? Interviewing. This is the cover letter in person, but it's both ways. It's interactive. So tell me about yourself. So what was the most, you know, relevant experience that you're going to feel like it's going to contribute to your position? How was your relationship with your past employer? What is the biggest achievement you had? And tell me, you know, how did you approach it? How would you deal with a difficult customer? Okay? They're trying to find a good fit. And you're going to be asking employers questions as well. Okay? That's the interview. Sample work, especially for those that are in the arts. Okay? Architecture, computer programming, absolutely. Even engineers. If you have sample work that's really good, that's going to be very convincing to an employer. So it's good to have a portfolio to show your example work. If you don't have things that are concrete to take, website might be a good way to show off. Good stuff. Yes?
As an international student, how can you have the working experience in the United States?
You don't have to. Who said it has to be U.S. related job experience? Right. What an employer wants is, can you do the job? There's going to be a lot of people that could do the job. Can you do it for me really good? And can you do it for me at the cheapest price? Right? That's how employers think. Bottom line. So, what you want to demonstrate is that if you don't have the work experience, and work experience again doesn't mean paid work, okay? It means relevant experience where you learn the skills or you gain the experience so you can show the employer you can do this again, you're going to be successful in it. That's why it has to be specific with results. And when I say results, that means includes numbers. Okay? I'm good at this. Doesn't tell the employer anything. How good are you? I increased revenue by 20%. I, cut, the bugs by 35%. I, sped up the process by 2 weeks. Okay, now we're talking. Question you had? Yes.
If I wanna get into like accounting field, and I don't have any working experience about accounting.
Right.
But I do have some school activities,
right,
which is like accounting club. Can I be
What do you think? Yes? Why?
Whatever you can find.
That's what you have. You can't put in something that you don't have. You have to put in something that you do have. And it's definitely relevant. It's better than nothing, right? At least you're showing that you have some knowledge that you learned in a classroom. That's better than nothing. And this is always the dilemma with students. Well, if I don't have experience, I can't put it on my resume, thus I can't get future experience. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? It goes round and round. Well, if I don't get this internship, I can't apply to a full-time job. And like, what am I supposed to do? Well, how do people start? Well, the employer might not pay you the first time. And there are things called internships for credit, academic credit. Sometimes it's called volunteering. But you have to gain experience some way to show that at least you're serious about it and that you gain some knowledge somehow. Good question, though. That's a question every student bumps in. Yes?
I also have a question.
Yes.
What's the difference between a resume for graduate school and for the company?
Good question. Difference of the resume for graduate school and resume for like a full-time job. Well, the audience is different. What do graduate school admissions people or faculty want to see? Research. If it's a research institution, they want to see if you've done research. If you can do research, have you done research? What else do graduate schools and postdoc related position want to see?
Past academic career.
Academic career. In the past, what kind of classes you've taken, what kind of presentations done, what kind of conferences you attended, what kind of publications, patents, teaching experience, right? There's lots of things that are related with research kind of positions. So when we say be specific to the employer, grad school is kind of like an employer. You want to be specific to the reader. Let's make it broader because there's resumes for scholarships, there's resumes for graduate school, there's resumes for a lot of things. Okay, good questions.
How about the length?
Length. With usually if it's for an academic position like grad school, that's usually called a CV. I've seen a 77-page CV. So. But I would say for graduate school application, I think 2 to 3 pages is max. If you're like a master's student going to a PhD and you have lots of publications, I think it could go longer. But usually 2 to 3 pages, I would say. And references last but not least, this is a third party. For example, a past employer or a faculty saying, yes, this student is good. You want to hire him. Or she's really great. She's very talented, lots of potential. You need to consider her. Okay, so this is third person highlighting how great you are. Okay, so those are some of the things beyond a resume that is considered a job search tool. Okay, so again, to review, the purpose, the role of a resume is to market your highlights of experiences and skills. And you're trying to draw the attention of the specific employer. Because one employer might want A, but another employer might want B. You don't want the same resume. You want to highlight all the A's in one resume and all the B's in one resume. Right? So, if you really wanted to, you can make a resume for each employer. That might not be realistic for you. Because you're probably going to be applying to 100 employers. $20 at least. Okay. Questions over here? You're okay? Okay, that's the purpose of a resume. Oops, sorry.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
What's the relationship, with respect to references for international students?
References for international students. Well, when I applied to graduate school, I had 3 Japanese references. But references and recommendations are slightly different. Usually for a job, you're asked for a reference. Usually that means the person's name, title, like email and phone number, and I like to include the relationship with you. For example, a graduate school advisor or something like that. Recommendation is usually a written letter. So they're a little different. So when employers ask for references, it usually means names and contacts. And if you don't have anybody in the U.S., you have to start building them. Because as job experience or work experience or relevant experience in the U.S., if you are an international student that just came, you knew you don't have anybody here. That is the disadvantage of an international student. You don't have the life history here. You don't have those contacts and networks. That's why I highly, highly encourage you to get involved and get to know people, as well as let people get to know you, so they can personally say, yes, I've worked with this student, and yes, she's really good at this, and yes, you definitely want to hire her. And that kind of relationship doesn't happen overnight, right? That's why in the first slide we say it's going to take time, because the job search, even if you're a freshman or a sophomore, your job search is starting now, because you have to start building those relationships now, right? Okay. And for international students, you're a little behind on that compared to American students. But don't be surprised, a lot of American students don't have a lot of professional references either, because they didn't think that way. But you're going to have to start thinking that way. Yes?
Are you going to cover anything what is the answer of how do you follow up?
How do you follow up with an employer?
Yeah.
Well, think like an employer. What do you want to know?
Right.
There's 2,000 resumes on my desk.
Now, either I consider my resume directly to the employer, or I upload it in some selection tool. There are many tools available.
They are. And that's more going to be covered in the How to Find a Job in the U.S. on Friday. Because there's more effective and less effective ways of applying and following up, and yes. But the more, I'll tell you this, the more personal the connection, the stronger the likelihood that you're going to be hired. Okay? If you're the brother of a CEO, okay, there is a higher chance than if you apply through monsterjobs.com, right? So, it's in a way common sense in that sense, the closer you are. And the more relationship, the more connection you have with that employer, the better your chances you are. Yes?
So let me make sure. How many, you said 66 employers are coming?
66 are registered now.
Now.
Yes.
So like, do you know how many companies on average we can work in?
If you go to the job fair, how many you can meet them?
Yeah, how many we can talk? Because it just,
It depends. It depends. Okay, if you are going for the big four accounting firms, you're probably going to see one employer. Okay.
I'm looking for one internship for real estate.
Okay, then you might be able to see a little more. I'm not sure if there's going to be any real estate kind of companies there, because the companies that tend to come to the job fair are those companies that, one, can afford to come to the job fair, because travel costs are so high and expensive, employers don't come. Two, if the field has enough employees, then they don't have to recruit, so they're not going to come. So you're not going to see like a sports management company, or they're not looking for actors, because they have plenty of them. They don't have to recruit. But those areas that are short-staffed, or there's a high turnaround, or there's a high need, or they have lots of money, they're going to be coming. So again, there's hundreds of thousands of employers out there. Don't limit yourself to the companies that are going to come to the job fair, because it's only a limited number. To be strategic, you want to look up the employers that are coming to the job fair, and on the website, absolutely, and then make resumes for the ones that you're going to. Be strategic. Okay. But again, if you're interested, we have programs for that as well. So I'm going to chug along because it's already 3:15. All right. Employers look for evidence. Okay, this is the key word, evidence. They want proof, because they're not going to invest in anybody. They want evidence that you have communication skills, motivation, teamwork, leadership, academic credentials and active learning kind of skills, interpersonal skills, analytical problem solving skills, blah, blah, blah. Don't worry about this, I'll give you a little handout, okay? But those are the types of things that employers are looking for, okay? Have you demonstrated that you can do these and you have these competencies that employers seek? What skills have enabled you to be successful? You have to give specific examples. You have to give evidence. And do your strengths meet their needs? Because you might be really good at something, but if you're applying to a position that has really nothing related to it, it's not going to be appealing. You might be great, but the employer's not going to be interested. And if the employer's not interested, they're not going to hire you. So, what are their needs? Research this. How can you show your strengths? Examples, samples, past experience, whatever. If it's not paid jobs, that's okay. What else do you have? And how can you demonstrate your strengths? And how will that meet their demand? You can tell them that. You can write that in your cover letter. Okay? So this is what I was talking about a while ago if you don't have work experience. Okay? 3 types of skills that employers are looking for. Job-specific skills. Computer science, computer programmers, you're probably going to have to be able to program. Right? You need to know that. If you're going to be a translator, you need to know the language and the field. Right? Transferable skills. These are some skills that are developed, your abilities that are developed into strengths that you're going to need anywhere. If you're going to be doing a lot of group work or working in teams or project teams, you need to be able to work with people. And that kind of goes along with personal characteristics. Right? Are you cooperative? Are you analytical? Okay? So, I know I've been doing a lot of talking. We're going to do a little exercise after this, so bear with me a little more. What skills have enabled you to be successful? Little example, job-specific skills. It could be your education, right? Your degrees, you need to put those in. Relevant experience, relevant courses, skills, specific stuff. Transferable. A lot of this transferable skills is not going to be mentioned. It's going to be shown. For example, if you are a strong communicator, what does that mean and how can you prove it? You can't write strong communicator. Because what does strong mean? In communication, there's so many different ways to communicate, right? Through email, through visual posters, on the phone, presentations, in written form, in letters, right? There's different ways. Personal characteristics. Again, you have to show, not tell. That's why the job fair is important, because you could show who you are. You could demonstrate who you are, right? And you might be somebody that is very trustworthy, and the employer is going to like that. Or very enthusiastic and high energy, and they like that. Or whatever it is. Do you know what their needs are? Do you know what the employer's needs are? Again, if you don't know, then you need to do some research. Okay? And you want to show that you have those skills and experiences through concrete examples. Concrete information. Specific information. I can't stress this enough. Because a lot of students will just say, computer skills. That doesn't tell me anything. Right? Okay? So, usually, when we say to write concrete examples in your resume, these are some of the things they have to think about. What did you do? Tell me, what did you do? How did you do it? What tools did you use? What's the method? In a team, individual, how'd you do it? How much or how long or how frequent did you do it? Include numbers. Okay? Was it a 2-person team? Was it a $60,000 budget? Was it what? Okay? And what happened? Most important, what happened? Because you could be a strong leader. You can lead 40 students and go off a cliff. Bad example. Strong leadership skills. Bad result. Right? That was where you're supposed to laugh. Okay? That's an example of a result that's negative. We want positive outcomes. We want to show you can do it, but not only can you do it, you can do it well. That brings positive results because that's what employer wants. Why? Because it increases revenue, because it increases the number of customers, because you get competitive. Right? You want to show you did this, okay, so what? This is the value I bring. And that's what you're trying to show the employer. Make sense? Okay. So, we're going to do a little exercise. I am not sure I'm going to have enough. I think I only brought like 40. We can give this out. We have lots more copies in the CDC South office. I want you to kind of hand this out. If you can come to the other office to pick them up. I'm going to give the students that are sitting here because they came earlier first, but we'll do a brief exercise. We'll kind of show you guys how this is done. But what this is the transferable skills list. Okay? And if you can see what skills and qualities are important to employers, this is the top 10 list of a survey that we do nationally, the National Association of Colleges and Employers. This is an association that works with career centers and employers, and they do a survey. What are the top 10 skills employers are looking for in job candidates? And every year it's the same thing. Maybe in different orders. If there's like a big scandal or something, like work ethic comes up, or if there's a big technology boom, computer skills might come up a little bit. But basically it's the same. And I'll read them. Okay? And I want you to think if you have this kind of skill. Number 1, communication skills. Number 2, strong work ethic. Number 3, initiative. Number 4, interpersonal skills, meaning relates well to others. Number 5, problem-solving skills. Number 6, teamwork skills. Number 7, analytical skills. Number 8, flexibility and adaptability. 9, computer skills. And number 10, being detail-oriented. These are the top 10 skills that employers want. Nothing in here, really, is job-specific, right? Every employer wants this, maybe in different orders. If you're working at a daycare center compared to a factory, they might want some different skills in different orders, but this is what every employer wants. So what this exercise does is actually you flip over, and then there's this little list, 10 most preferred skills. So for those of you that don't have this sheet, this is what I want you to do. And out of those skills like communication skills or initiative or strong work ethic, write one thing down, and then I want you to write an example, a specific example, where and how you demonstrated that skill. I want you to write an example of that because I want you to train yourself to write in that manner. Okay? And if you need me to go back to the skill list, I could do that as well. Okay? So can you take like 3 minutes to do that? Just one's enough. Just one's enough. Okay? So let's do that right now. And if you can pass this around, look around. Write one transferable skill that an employer wants. Take communication skills. That's the number one. Every employer wants this. And write a specific example when and how you demonstrated strong communication skills. So, I want you to start this, if you can, with a verb. For example, wrote, demonstrated, negotiated, taught. These are all types of communications methods as well, starting with a verb. Okay? Make sure you include a number that quantifies. And show me a positive result that demonstrates your strong communication skills. Okay, write one. And I'm going to ask for a volunteer to share that. Okay? Anybody not clear of what they're supposed to do? And it's okay to ask. Who's done one? Anybody? Would you like to share?
Yes.
Yes, excellent, thank you. Okay, could you tell me the skill that you wrote about?
Okay, in the communication skills,
Communication skills?
fixed making presentation.
Making presentations, okay.
Yeah, so I gave an example that when I was having an internship in Toyota, I had prepared a presentation which was very clear, right to the point, easy to understand, and they actually taught us how to create a Japanese style presentation. So
Super.
I used that skills on my presentation after my project was done there.
Great. So, how did you actually write that example? The example, how did you write that example?
I said Toyota, clear, easy to understand, right to the point. Japanese style.
Japanese style. So those are some of the ways that the presentation was. If you were to write it in the resume as a bullet point, how would you write it? What's the verb you might use?
Verb?
Yeah, because you want to start a bullet point, meaning an example of the work, starting with a verb.
Okay. Presenting skills.
Presented is a good one. But you created that too, right? It could be created, or created and presented. Created and presented what? Verb, noun. Let's bring the noun. What's the noun?
Presentation.
Okay, what kind of presentation?
Project.
What kind of project? This is where we're talking about specific, right?
Okay, plastic molding.
Excellent, okay. Created and presented a plastic model presentation for Toyota. And who did you present it to?
My senior engineer.
Senior engineers, how many?
2 and 1 from HR.
Excellent. And then what happened?
They liked it.
They liked it. Tell me more. How did they like it? No, don't be laughing. How do you know they liked it?
At the end, it was a project, so I finished the project and it worked out.
Whoa, it worked out. How do you know it worked out?
Because it was a data collecting program that I created. So they start using it. They
start using it. Toyota implemented your plastic model that you created. Is that a positive outcome? Absolutely. You need to be that specific for the employer to understand that you didn't say clear, you didn't say understandable, you didn't say any of those words. You only gave facts. Do you see the difference of giving facts and bragging? Because a lot of students get uncomfortable writing about their successes because it sounds like bragging, and bragging is a no-no. Right? Bragging is uncomfortable. That's not bragging, that's facts. He created a plastic model, he put it in a presentation and presented it to 2 engineers in the HR, and they actually implemented his model for future whatever designs. That's a positive result. And that's how employers can understand, we can use somebody like this. Not does he only know how to design, he can create models, and he can present, and it's understandable, and it's good. There's 5 pieces of critical information you put in that bullet point. Did it feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what we want to do. Did I see a hand up here? No? Okay. Does that make sense? Do you want another sample? Anybody want to volunteer? And a lot of times when students volunteer, they're surprised. They're like, oh, I'm kind of good. What employer wouldn't be interested in me? That's to the point that you want to bring this to. Questions. I am trying to be very sensitive to the time because I told you at the beginning, time is money, right? You're more than welcome to stay a little longer, but that is the presentation portion. If any of you have never seen a U.S. resume before, I want to show you our website. You want to go to cdc.binghamton.edu. Okay? And this is what it's going to look like, cdc.binghamton.edu. This right here on the left corner is where we have our upcoming programs and times we're open. You know, we have these printouts as well if anybody's interested. If you want to learn how to write a resume and what it looks like, you can come right here in the popular links. If you click that, writing your resume, okay, there's a video of how to write a resume as well as our sample quick reference guide. This is a PDF file that you can print out. Maybe this doesn't have PDF. That's not the case. Anyway, you can download the PDF. You can also access this from the quick reference guide list right here. So if you're interested in cover letters, interviewing, how to do a job search, of course, resume writing is in the job search document section, of course, right? It will break into section to section. How you write your name. Anybody want to ask how to write your name? This is an important one because sometimes international students might have a nickname or a more English sounding name. You have to match your name that's in your registrar. Okay? So, I'm going to pick on Sylvia here. Sylvia is her kind of English name, but you will not find a Sylvia in the registrar's office because that's not the name she registered in. Okay, so you need your full name, and usually it's the first name, your own name first, and then your family name next. If you have an English sounding name, I might put it after your first name in parentheses. Okay, because if the employer asks for a transcript or they need a copy of your what's that, I-94 or your passport or whatever, I-20, I'm sorry, I-20, it has to match, and if the name doesn't match, then it's like, oh, we don't know this kind of person. So that has to match, so be careful about that. But how you write the school name, there's no such thing as a SUNY Binghamton. Doesn't exist. It's State University of New York at Binghamton or Binghamton University at Binghamton University, State University of New York. Okay? So how to write school names, how to write your degrees, how to write your GPA, your education, your work experience, how to use the verbs, sample list of verbs, activities, hobbies, all that kind of stuff. All that information is in this quick reference guide that I just pointed here. Again, how to get here, cdc.binghamton.edu. Go to the quick reference guide section or writing your resume section. Okay? And we do resume reviews. I want to do a little commercial here. We have a group resume review session because for beginner resume writers, the feedback we give 90% of the time is the same. And again, the job fair is coming up in 2-3 weeks, and we have 14,000 students. And how many counselors do we have? 4, right? And we have recruited a lot of people to help with resume reviews, but we are not going to have time to review everybody on a one-on-one basis. So I have planned a group resume review session, which is next Monday, September 13th, from 4:40 to 5:40 p.m. If you've never written a resume before in the U.S., write one this week, print it out and bring it to this resume review session. If you've already had your resume reviewed before, or you already have a resume that you've been using, come to an individual counselor on call hours. Counselor on call is a one-on-one session. We meet for about 15 minutes in the CDC South office. If you don't know where to find the schedule, it says it right here, counselor on call. We say COC for short, okay? So you can bring a printed out resume to the CDC and have it reviewed. Yes?
Do you need to make an appointment?
No. COC is a drop-in service. So, but you might need to wait because it's a first come, first serve. For example, today it started at 11. We only start signing in 5 minutes before the starting time. So you could come at 10:50, we won't let you sign in. So, first come, first serve, you sign in your name. If it's only a resume that you're having reviewed, you check resume review, and then you have a little sheet that you write, and you wait for a counselor or a resume reviewer to come, and then they'll help you review it and give you some feedback. Okay? Questions?
Is there another job fair?
Is there another job fair? Yes, in the spring. Usually, I think it's in like mid-February-ish. However, if you've never experienced winter in the Binghamton area, a lot of times it's snowing, right? And last year we had a big number of employers that couldn't come to the job fair because they were snowed in. Yes, so this is the bigger job fair in the fall, and there is going to be more employers. There's other job fairs going around in the area. If you're interested, I would recommend you to go to this program and events section. And there are CDC fairs and other career events as well. So any surrounding area job fairs. All the information that you're going to be seeking is going to be on the website. That doesn't mean, we don't want you to come to the CDC because the personalized information and help you can get there. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here.